What's going on, guys?
Led to monetary tightening. Tightening leads to recession. The panic wasn't free, and the bill is coming due, right? So basically, all these things that took place, right? A domino effect, by the way. All these things that took place, what leads us to the quote unquote slaughterhouse. Why? Because this was their plan, right? All along, guys. At the end of the day, a lot of people were happy, by the way, right? Stimulus and whatnot, but they were preparing people for the universal basic income, for the new financial system to be in place, guys, right? So we know the collapse is inbound. Could it be this autumn? Could it be literally now, basically? Look at this from Zero Hedge, guys. Any minute now. Wow. I can't believe if it actually is now, if it actually does take place now, the collapse we're talking about, my mind will be blown out of the water because Mr. Pool, summer, 589 winter. The reset takes place at fall, at autumn, but which year is the question. Look at this though, more proof in the pudding. Exhibit 3. United States dollar year-over-year change is at a level that usually leads to financial economic stress. Oh, again, the dominoes, right? Might fall ever so quickly, guys. Let's compare. So basically, what do we see right here, guys? A chart, right? About the XY. Every time we see a huge spike at around these levels, right? What took place? Different crises, guys, as we see right there. Mexican debt crisis, Russian default, tech bubble recession, right? All of these guys, housing bubble peak, and look where we are at, and look where we're at right now. Will this foretell or foreshadow what's upcoming next, right? I mean, if this is right, guys, and if the collapse is happening very soon, that means the realtors were on point, right? Especially this autumn time frame. I mean, I don't believe the collapse or the reset takes place at any other season. Why? Because fall, then winter is where everything quote unquote dies, right? Perishes. Then spring, everything comes out alive again, right? It's symbolic. So when the collapse does take place, it's going to happen at autumn, guys. Perhaps it's now, honestly. Let's compare, just in case, right? Other than that, Wall Street Silver Street bubble is popping. Home buyers are backing out of deals at record high rates in these 10 U.S. cities. Remember when we stated that when the collapse does take place, it's only the beginning? This winter will be a brutal one. Again, we stated that when the collapse does take place, guys, the housing market, literally most markets, right? If not all, well, XRP, Hedge, all these things we know about, but most markets are just going to plummet, collapse. People will be able to buy houses again, right? There's always two sides to the story. Destruction leads to creation. Now, besides that news, here we go, guys. The juicy part of the video. This is pretty crazy because we were just talking about Christine Lagarde, the wise owl, yesterday. So, listen to this right here from Misco CV. Now, ECB Chief Lagarde says she does not like to see a new period of quote-unquote free banking due to cryptocurrencies. Central bank digital currencies are required to maintain the role of central banks. Oh my, I can't believe my eyes. What's happening? What's happening? Oh my. Okay, so I'm going to play the video and we're going to dissect what she's stating right here, guys. Remember, she talked about cannibalism, right? Taking place. Listen very carefully because we're going to talk about it right now.
Where do we stand? We central bankers. We have been
If you guys are
operating
not
as
preparing,
a monetary anchor in relation to the
Talk
commercial
shit.
banks and the private money. If we are not in that game, if we are not involved in experimenting, in innovating in terms of digital central bank money,
The fact is,
Wait a minute, guys.
90% of hair loss cases in men are
She
caused
basically
by
stated
scalp
right here
condition,
that banks
which is
aren't
the
going
consequence
anywhere,
of one bad
right?
habit in
But a lot
daily
of people
routine.
do believe that banks will perish in time. Most likely no, guys. We talked about how banks love their power, right? Listen to this once again.
Central bank money, we risk losing the role of anchor that we have played for many, many decades. And we have historical examples of period where the central bank monetary anchor was not there, and that precipitated crisis after crisis. That certainly was the case at the time of the free banking in the 19th century. Do we want to go back to those days? Probably not. I would say certainly not from our vantage point, as a result of which we have to respond to the demand for those digital payments in order to maintain the role of anchor that we have been playing regularly.
So basically she stated that
testing.
if we don't adopt, innovate, right, they will be cannibalized, right? They will be eaten, guys, alive. Which means that they will, guys, right? This is how she stated right there, guys. She told us that change is inbound, right? Change is coming. Most people are being distracted by everything else, but it states right there, central bank digital currencies are required to maintain the role of central banks, right? So it's that simple that we know the game plan. Ripple is part of it all, right? If you go down here, listen to this. Look where that anchor role brought us. Recklessly pumping money into the economy brought us here. She's essentially saying we risk becoming irrelevant, which would probably be better for the world. Again, to destroy the economy, they do it intentionally, right? It's so simple, guys. It's so simple and easy. I mean, how don't people still see that they will bring this NWO, right, in due time? One more thing, guys, share the video, like the video, because we are literally 589 steps ahead of everyone else, right? We are at the same level playing field as these quote-unquote elites. But wait a minute, quote-unquote free banking, right? They don't want us to be free, basically, from the system we are governed by today, right? So at the end, we got lured by money.
Listen up, people.
Blinded by our own greed. Keep watching the video because we're going to explain how we could turn any negative situation to a positive, right? Which would then correlate to this week. Central banking, digital currencies, and social credit systems explained. Show this to anyone who still thinks this is a conspiracy theory. It's time to take the blinkers off before it is too late. Guys, listen very carefully and we'll talk about it right after.
A little bit far-fetched, and you might be thinking that this kind of authoritarian control over your money is not going to be anything that we'll see in the future. Unfortunately, this is already implemented in the world. In China, the government is already able to program what its citizens can and cannot spend their money on. Over the last few years, they've limited millions of people's ability to buy things like train tickets, passports, and luxury goods. They're able to do this because of China's intense social credit system that links each person's identity and actions to their bank account, allowing the government to see and to control everything a citizen does with their money. And it seems like the West is paying attention. In nations like Sweden, South Africa, and Canada, trials of programmable central bank currencies are already underway. In fact, almost half of the world's nations are meaning no matter where in the world you live, this technology is likely only a few years away. Okay, so how does programmable money tie in with the personal carbon limit? Well, it all comes down to whether or not you've gone over your monthly usage. And if you have, there are two possible case scenarios for that. The most openly talked about penalty for a person going over their individual carbon limit is that they'd simply get charged for doing so, just the same as what happens to large companies today. Taking too many car trips this month, or bought a little bit too much meat. In that case, you'd simply get a bill at the end of each month.
Keep prepping, people. Keep prepping.
Pay the price of being a naughty citizen.
All right, you
your entire
prepping.
carbon usage would be tracked by a government CBDC. There would be no way to hide how much carbon you use. And since they now also hold the keys to your money, they won't even need to send you a bill for your excess usage. Potentially, they'll just automatically.
Okay, there's a lot to talk about right here, but first of all, I did want to say that I don't know if it's too late, guys, to, quote unquote, fight back of what they were trying to do. But what we know for a fact is this: the United States CBDC will come into play when the crisis hits, right? That's when they'll bring on the solution, the new system. So until then, we have to be patient. Instead, should we say they are very patient, right, for that day to implement the new system. We're not making these things up, guys. People are actually waking up, right? Unusual whales will shoot out the UK could trigger a global crisis as pound
Alright,
collapses
10
while
minutes.
bond yields soar.
Share if you care.
Larry Summers has
Subscribe
said,
if you like.
again,
If it's not, it's
with
alright.
the bond
Peace
market,
out about
right?
prepping.
So
Keep prepping. And if you
they
do,
will intentionally
for liking.
destroy this economy
adios. Peace out.
globally, guys. Right, Simon?
Later. Peace.